We kick off our discussion segment here this morning, and of course, the whole nation is following what is happening in Edo State. I mean, it started yesterday, whereby the Edo State House of Assembly had to come together by votes. Out of 24, 18 voted for, and of course, about 6 also voted against, while about 3 others did not participate in the voting. So it was a game of the ayes have it, because the ayes are numbered up to about 18. Then, of course, the nays, that is none, was about 6. I'm talking about the suspension of the 18 local government chairmen in Edo State, and of course, they are deputies. Now, what are the issues? Constitutionality, you may say, and of course, local government autonomy, you may also say, though it is financial autonomy. When we talk about local government autonomy, we say financial autonomy, not really political autonomy. Or it is just mere politics. Well, to look at all this this morning, we are so privileged to have erudite discussants here. And of course, they're going to be doing justice to the issue. First and foremost, join me to welcome Barrister Sonny Daudu, Esquire. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And also joining us virtually this morning, we've got another guest on the show. We'll get to introduce him as we go on. We're expecting Barrister Abraham Ovia to also join us in the talk show this morning. All right, so gentlemen, you're welcome. Now, we have Barrister Theophilus Oboru, who is joining us virtually this morning. Barrister, you're welcome to the program too.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
All right. So, Barrister Sonny Daudu, now, how do we explain what happened yesterday? Is this just a politics or a matter of constitutionality?
Well, first, we must take it from the background, the constitutional background. Now, that will take effect from Section 7 of the Constitution, which provides for the effect that a system of local government council by democratically elected council is hereby guaranteed. Another law of the state, that is, every state shall by law ensure their establishment, composition, tenure, and all of that. What that simply seems to me, therefore, is that the establishment of local government is premised on the law established by the House of Assembly. Their existence, their establishment, their composition, their tenure. So what it means is that if the State House of Assembly by law establish the local government and say you have 2 tenure or 2 years tenure, they can by law even revoke it and say you have 1 year tenure. So what it means, therefore, is that the House of Assembly have the constitutional mandate to oversight the functions, either political functions, economic functions, financial functions of the local government.
Yeah, we're really not looking at the creation of local government, as it were. We're talking about the 3rd tier of government here, because there are 3 tiers of government. You have the federal government, the state government, and of course the local government. Now, what happened yesterday by some analysts is likened to be a situation whereby maybe one day we will find a situation whereby the National Assembly may have to call on Edo State government to give accounts, and if the Edo State government fails, then of course he suspends the state.
No, let me tell you that. That has already also been litigated by the Supreme Court. The state governments, led by Kogi, instituted an action on the Supreme Court challenging the federal government that they do not have the power to investigate their financial expenses, and that the EFCC Act enacted by the National Assembly is a usurpation on the autonomy of states, and that law should be rendered nugatory. But the Supreme Court said no. So what that means, therefore, is that even state government are not financially autonomous in terms of the management of the resources derivable from either the federal allocation or even resources that are taxpayers' money. So if the Supreme Court has heard that position of the state, that the National Assembly cannot make a law to regulate how they spend their expenses, It therefore means a house of the local government cannot also now say that they have financial autonomy that cannot be probed by the House of Assembly. If the National Assembly can probe the states by law.
Yeah, let me pause you.
So it will make mockery to now say that the local government will argue that they are financially autonomous and as such nobody should care. Okay. The issues that gave birth to the suspension is financial propriety.
Okay, let me pause you so that we bring Barrister Moro Theophilus into the program. Now, Barrister Moro, how do you react to the developing issues going on in Edo State right now?
My learned senior has put it very well, legally speaking, because once a law is on paper, it is what it says. That law is what it says. However, I'll try as much as possible to go beyond what the law says or the law as it is and address the law as it ought to be. Indeed, it does seem that both the Constitution and every other legislation that controls local government puts the powers to probe, to suspend, and all that in the state government. But looking at it from a practical point of view, this is a situation that could and has constantly stalled development and truncated, the flow of continuity from one government to another. So the question is, should the local government be allowed? Should they have complete autonomy as far as okay? Now, my learned senior made a statement about the state, the federal government being able to probe the state. However, the federal government cannot. At the federal level, you cannot remove a governor. That happens at the state level. For example, it is the state House of Assembly that can impeach or remove the governor and otherwise. Now, the question is, if local governments are at the beck and call, the tenure of the chairman is in the hands of a higher authority, then what guarantees do we have that we will ever have a stable term of governance where local government can plan projects and do this and do all that and decide, okay, this is our goal for this first tenure? I mean, things will always get truncated. So I think the law has to be revisited, not just for the sake of legality now, but for the sake of practicality. That is my opinion.
Being revisited now. Now, there is a very close law, perhaps not too long, that you find analysts have been resorting to. We're talking about the Edo State Chief Judge judgment that talked about that the state government cannot preside over the Edo State House of Assembly cannot preside over issues of elected chairmen in Edo State. Now, that law probably takes effect from a Supreme Court ruling that the state chief judge resorted to. Barrister Theophilus.
Oh, yes. Now, that ruling is, in my opinion, apt. Because like I said earlier, if you have a state assembly, being powerful enough to remove an elected officer, an elected official, then the whole thing makes a mockery of the very definition of the Constitution. If at a certain level we can elect someone, and then it now takes someone at a higher level to remove that person, then it's a bit of a caricature, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. So, by Sonny Daudu, now we are looking at a situation whereby we understand the whole story that the governor gave a 48-hour ultimatum, and of course that 48 hours elapsed and all that. But Some of the findings we are finding in this area, in this whole story, is that the governor never gave the elected chairman the opportunity of a second hearing. And the next that they saw was their suspension. Not only suspending them, but their, deputies, their vice, Sonny Daudu.
Well, let me put it in a different perspective. You see, the actions of yesterday is an action carried out not by the state governor. It's an action carried out by the State House Assembly.
Yeah, but the state governor wrote to the House of Assembly. I mean,
let me tell you this. You see, the House of Assembly, apart from their constitutional function of establishing these local governments by law, they also have an oversight function on the House of Assembly, on the local government system. They carry out an oversight function on this local government. It is in the exercise of that oversight function that they want to now investigate. If the governor has written to them that we have asked these people to bring their statement to account and they have refused, the only thing that is left for the House of Assembly is to investigate.
Now, the National Assembly, does the National Assembly has the same oversight function
to
investigate state governors?
Of course, they have. They have. Let me tell you that we are children of history. We can remember not too long ago, some governors were removed.
Removed from office?
From office. Several governors were removed during the first tenure, yes, of 1999 to 2003 or thereabout, by state of emergency declaring their states. The House of Assembly, let me finish that. Let me finish that. Even the House of the National Assembly can take over the function of the State House Assembly if it becomes impracticable for them to function, or if there are allegations against them. So it's not the National Assembly can look at the issues happening in the state. The state also can look at the issue happening at the local government. So it's not as if the Constitution made it so watertight that you cannot look at what is happening, because the country is one, is a one structure. But for administrative conveniences, that is what gave birth to even states creation, gave birth to local governments. It's because of administrative conveniency and to bring the government closer to the people. So the government is defined as a whole. These are just component units of the government.
No, when you say, let us be careful with the way we say component units of the government, because Nigeria, I mean, right from elementary governments, I mean, we all know that we have 3 tiers of government.
No doubt.
At every tier of government, it seems each tier, the federal government enjoy its freedom, its sovereignty. Let me put it that way. The same thing with the state government, and so it ought to be with the local government. Now the local government seems to have been too battered.
Yeah, if you look at my colleague argument, is to the effect that as the Constitution is today, the local government in themselves do not enjoy the same constitutional protection that the states and federal government has. That's the beginning. As it stands by the 1999 Constitution, as it speaks today, the local government do not enjoy the same protection. Now, if we say they enjoy the same protection, why do local governments serve maybe 3 years by law of the State House Assembly, whereas House of Assembly says federal government serve 4 years? 4 years. Where do you derive it from? It's the Constitution. Because in the Constitution, the tenure of state government and federal government are defined by law, by the Constitution. But it's also with the House of Assembly and with the local government. So a State House Assembly can come up and say local government is 2 years. And that will be it, because they say by law. That is, every state shall by law, by the law of the House of Assembly, ensure their establishment.
Okay. All right, so we'll take a short pause now. Don't forget, we are still looking at the recent happening in Edo State. We're talking about the suspension of the 18 local government chairmen in Edo State and their deputies. It happened only yesterday, whereby the Edo State House of Assembly had to put a knee or eyes have it votes to that development. We are looking at the suspension of the 18 local government chairmen in Edo State. And right here with us on set this morning, we have Barrister Sonny Daudu and also Barrister Theophilus Umoru join us virtually. Now, Barrister Umoru, now the People's Democratic Party has reacted to developments, and of course their reaction is that development is quite laughable. Now, help us make sense. What is the political implication of what seems to be brewing in Edo State? I mean, we are looking at a House of Assembly that probably majority of the members of the House of Assembly probably came on board under the same platform with the said local government chairman. What are the political implications that seems to be brewing that we are not seeing?
Well, thank you very much. The political implications, by use one word, is arbitrariness. That is the implication. Because what would happen is this: if at any point in time the state government or the state House of Assembly decides that there is something they do not want, or something undesirable, or something they disagree with, or maybe something even illegal happening at the local government level, they can at any time, without the input of anyone at the local government, make a decision that affects the local government. And like I said earlier, that in and of itself creates a situation where progress is difficult. Look at where we are right now. Not one, not two, but all 18 local council chairmen suspended. All. What are the chances that all 18 local council chairmen can actually run foul of the law at the same time on the same issue? You see where we are going? That means that anyone can decide today, let's not have these people on board, we don't want them anymore, and just take them out. So the question is not the legality of it, the question is the practicality of it. And this is one of the things that has stalled development at local government, where we know the names of our governors, we know the names of our even special assistants and special advisors, but we don't even know who our councillor is. It's that bad. Crippling governance at the lowest level. And this is one thing that I like to describe as copying but not pasting properly. In the United States, we have a 3-tier government that we have copied somehow, but we have forgotten how to paste properly. We have pasted it wrongly, and that is where we are. Where you have the local government that you can decide to scrap today and no difference is felt. These are the implications, stalling of development, and it will continue until something happens.
Now, some of their reactions probably gives strength to what Barrister Umoru said, stalling of development, because for some analysts that perhaps it is too early. I mean, for a governor who is just barely about 2 months old in the state, and of course putting up a machinery to suspend 18 local government chairmen and their deputies. I mean, if we're saying that, okay, 1 or 2 ran foul, not the whole 18 of them. I mean, for a government that it tends to really go far, do you think the governor is taking the right step at the right time at this time?
Well, let me not tie the answer to the governor.
Yeah,
let me tie the answer to the governor. But let me drive the issues.
The governor, we also what happened. The governor called for a meeting, and of course, in that meeting, the local government chairmen promised that they were willing to work with the governor. It was at that meeting that the request was put before the local government chairman that, hey, let us have records of your accounts, I mean, of your governmental process and all that, giving them 48 hours. So that is what brought us to where we are now.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Let's look at it as the government of the state. Let us not look at it as the governor, so that we will not personalize it. Now, let's admit that the local government have assured the governor or the government of Edo that they are going to cooperate in development. And the governor has requested that your statement of account should be presented maybe 48 hours or thereabout. Now, the question we must take from there is that did any of the local government presented this statement of account? That is one. Two, did they now express inability to present it within the 48 hours to the governor or to the government of Edo or House of Assembly that, no, we are seeking for extension of time within which to produce this statement of account. So at that point, you can say, okay, those who presented should not have been suspended. But if the report is that none of them has presented, first, is insubordination. That is one. Two, what the House of Assembly have done is just to investigate. What that has done, if you look at the follow-up, was that an administrative panel of inquiry was immediately set up, which they will now appear before. Anybody who's not found guilty, I'm not going to be preemptive. It's not that they have done anything to the local government, it's to ensure smooth investigation. And as I tell you now, that the local governments are still functioning democratically because the leaders of the legislative arms are elected by the people. So they are still holding sway in the local government.
Elected by the councillors.
Yeah, so they are still holding sway. There is nothing impeding the smooth administration of the local government as we speak today. Because as you know too well, the legislative arm, actually, they are the ones who appropriate and approve budget for them. So if they are presiding over what they have done before, there's nothing too radically different from them.
Now, the question we also ask that, Daudu, is that if at this time the legislative arms have been mandated to take over governance at local governments, at these local government levels, one would have expected that maybe, just maybe, wide imagination now, that the governor would have probably maybe set up a machinery that would have mandated the legislative arm to do the findings for him. Don't you think so?
No, the another thing is that when you look at the local government system and those who find themselves as councillors, they may not have the political will to be able to do an independent findings. That is one. Two, any of them who perhaps want to muster that may be suspended by the chairman. So these are vulnerable, with due respect, in terms of taking it out a challenge. That's why the state government now, or the House of Assembly as it were, have constituted a high-powered administrative panel to actually now look at this issue.
Can a local government chairman just suspend the councillor?
They do.
Without the input of the legislative?
They do. They suspended. During the transition period between moving from APC to PDP, councillors who refused to move there to the PDP were suspended. I can give names. They were suspended.
All right, so in all this now, Barrister Theophilus tomorrow. Now, where do you think this takes us to? I mean, we understand that the suspension is only for 2 months, though, but let us begin to think further. Where are we heading to in all this, Barrister tomorrow?
Well, where we are heading will be a continuation of what I just said. We may never, ever find ourselves where we can truly say that at the local government level, so and so person came on board and had this plan and implemented the plan thus far and then was able to achieve this, and then this next person is coming on board to either continue or to change what has happened. We will never have any discernible result of governance at local government levels. It is well, like I explained earlier, it's the reason why someone can be you can live where maybe next door to the councillor of your ward, and you don't even know who he is. The impact at the level where government is supposed to be closest to the people will never be felt. And let us try as much as possible not to just defer to the fact that, it is like this in the paper, it is like this in the law, it is written like this, therefore we should follow it. The entire reason for government in the first place is for the welfare and security of the people. Welfare and security of the people. The welfare and security of the people. So how on earth? Welfare and security goes through every level. It begins from the local government level. If the welfare and security of the people is subject not to the people who have been elected at that level, but to a higher authority, then we will always have issues. I have heard arguments so many times about reasons why local government system should be scrapped entirely because it is meaningless, it is pointless, and according to some, it's just another avenue for funds to disappear. And why it is difficult not to agree with them. This is where we are going to the point where local government may not even exist beyond paper. That is the danger of continuing with this position of the law as it is.
Okay. All right. So, Sonny Dowd, I'll just give you 30 seconds to react to what you said.
No, no. Well, the views were articulated, but I think we agree that the law should be strengthened to really give birth to local government that is not tied to the first string of anybody. We agree. But we only say that within the context of the law now, the actions of the House of Assembly is validated. That's what we are saying. We are not saying that the law cannot be strengthened to re-bet the local government, as it were, to become actually both administrative, political, financial autonomy as the other tiers of governments enjoy. We are not against that. But we are saying that within the context of the law now, the actions of the House of Assembly is validated by law.
Okay. All right. So we'll say thank you to you, Sonny Dowd, for joining us on the program today, and also to Barrister Theophilus Omoro there. A very big thank you. Now, the issues are still developing. It's only started yesterday. And as we speak now, different reactions. The People's Democratic Party, Edo State, has totally condemned, the development. And of course, they have said that it is a complete charade. Now, the impressions are still ongoing, and of course, the implications are still on building, as it were, and also reactions are still counting. Well, ITV, we always do the needful to follow the nitty-gritty of it all as the issues go on.